Hi guys, so I'd like to preface this by saying I'm sorry this took so long to record. Um, I had to record multiple segments over multiple days because I didn't have like anywhere to really record to. My recording setup was completely fucked up, so I'm sorry about that. So yeah, I'm really sorry this video took so long to make. But anyway, I'll get back to my original intro. Hi guys, so I'm gonna read Fantastic Four number 54. So, Fabulous FF go their separate ways. Whoever finds the evil eye. Sure, you've seen baseball games before, but we think you'll find this one just a little bit different. Heads up. Actually, this time I'm not gonna do the voice, I'm just gonna read it this time. It just. I know I like doing them, but like I'll switch like doing the voice one issue and then not doing it another issue. That's what I'll do. So sorry about that, but yeah, cause yeah. Anyway, so heads up, kiddies. My knuckle duster pitch can make a bullet look like it's standing still. Take it easy, Ben. Even that titanium bat, which the Black Panther gave us, might buckle under if you really bear down. Just put it over the plate, Mr. Grimm. This will never replace lion hunting, my friends. Careful, Johnny. No mitt is padded enough to handle Ben's fastball. You're way ahead of him, Benji boy. Poor Wyatt. He doesn't know what he's in for if Ben really lets go. And there's the writers the people who made the comic. Stan Lee's the writer. By their luster shall ye know them. Script Smiling Stan Lee, art Jolly Jack Kirby, inking Jovial Joe Sennett, lettering Snarlin Sam Rosen. Thing, you do not really intend to hurl that with all your might, do you? Naturally not. I don't want to toss this overgrown ping-pong ball clean through my little buddy's paw. Play it safe, fella. Better peg it underhand. Maybe you'd like me to roll it, like I'm an Emmy. Alright, since this ain't exactly the World Series, I'll flip it to you panty waist style. Timber. What? He hit it. Crock. The noise, it's like a sonic boom. Feels like I stuck my head between two cannons. That's what I get for pitching underhand. He blasted it clean out of the ballpark. It's about time. Our team is trailing by almost 50 runs. It figures. How can you beat a bunch of superpowered sweeties like us? Oh no. That would have been a homer in any other ball game. I hate to do this, son, but we're down to our last baseball. If Wingfoot can reach first base before you tag him, I feel we should still allow him the hit. Fair enough, but I still, swoosh. I'm safe. But what happened to him? Why did he topple? Rats, I knew something would spoil my no-hitter. You're faster than I thought, Wyatt. I didn't even see you bumping into me. But I didn't, Mr. Richards. I never touched you. He speaks the truth, my friend. You must have stumbled. Anyone who knows Mr. Fantastic like I know him has to admit that he never stumbles. I wonder what did trip him up. Maybe you're just getting bush stretcho. After all, you ain't getting any younger, pal. You want I should bring you some warm milk and a cookie. At ease, Ben. I'm not ready to be out to pasture yet. Besides, I've suddenly found the answer I was looking for. I should have guessed. It's the invisible girl materializing. Yeah, so I'm not. Yeah, I don't know if she's. Yeah, I think she switches at this point between girl and woman, Invisible Woman and girl. But Susan S. Richards, my own little bride. I'm sorry, darling, but you were unfair to poor Wyatt. Well, young lady, perhaps it's time for me to teach you where a young wife's loyalty should be. Okay, well, you'll have to catch me first, and I'll bet you can't do that without stretching your arms out like you did to catch that ball. We'll see about that, pretty girl. Well, there goes the blasted ball game. When he finally catches her, they'll probably go and smooth somewhere. What a revolting development. Never have I enjoyed the company of any so much as the Fantastic Four. You have filled my land with cheer and the spirit of friendship or fellowship, and now in my own small way I shall try to show my gratitude. Hours later, at dinner time, he who is called the Black Panther, who is this hereditary chieftain of the mighty Wakandas, he whose wealth is virtually beyond calculation, introduces the world's most renowned pianist, whom he has flown to his palace for the express purpose of entertaining his colorful guests. So there's a big robot panther or something. My next selection will be Grieg's Piano Concerto in a Minor, Opus 16. That's a heck of a beat the frog to. It's hard to believe that a scene like this can be taking place in the heart of the jungle. Where the Black Panther is concerned, anything is possible. My woo-boo. More nectar for our honored guests. Johnny's been brooding for hours. I wonder what's wrong. Will you not have some rare delicacies? No thanks, not now. But but one guest there is who does not even hear the magnificent melodies, for his thoughts constantly return to a sad-eyed girl, a girl he can never forget. The nights are the hardest. I keep hearing her voice in my brain, whispering, pleading, calling to me. He says, Johnny, where are you? I will never stop waiting for you, my Johnny. A girl, unlike any girl on the face of the earth, and in a land where few have ever trod, she's imprisoned behind a barrier which no man can shatter, the barrier beneath which the Inhumans dwell. We shall never stop trying to find a means of smashing this accursed barrier. Even now, Black Bolt returns from his daily mission of gliding around the city, seeking any possible weak spot in the eternal dome. 'Tis all the doing of Maximus, the now mad brother of Black Bolt. But the look on his face is enough to tell us he has failed once more. No weak spot exists. We shall never escape. 'Twas he who created the barrier, and only he knows the secret of its destruction. But the secret is forever locked within his maddened brain. Yet, although they know full well that their cause is virtually hopeless, the awesome Inhumans desperately reach out for any faint ray of hope, of encouragement. Black Bolt, did you find anything at all, even the slightest weak spot in the barrier? Or have you found the secret which only your brother knows? After all, your brain is as keen as his. Though you are denied the power of speech, your meaning is abundantly clear. We are still doomed to live out our lives beneath this accursed dome. Oh, Gorgon, or Gorgon, if I cannot see Johnny Storm again, then nothing else matters. It is as though my life has already come to an end. I wonder, what the Inhumans sound like if they have any accents or anything. They probably do. I don't know what it would sound like, though. Do not despair, my child. We shall yet find a way. Let us follow Black Bolt. He goes to visit Maximus once more. For he knows full well, as do we all, that only the evil Maximus knows how to reverse the negative charge of his dreaded Atmos gun, and nothing else on earth can shatter the barrier. But since Black Bolt defeated Maximus and regained the throne which was usurped from him, his brother became a babbling madman. True, Crystal, but Black Bolt is still the power. Trust him, my child. Opening Maximus's cell door with dexterous fingers strong as forged steel bands, Black Bolt sees the female who he loves. Something about Black Bolt and Medusa. Medusa is actually Black Bolt's cousin, which is pretty weird. Yeah, I think I read that somewhere, like Medusa was like Black Bolt's cousin or something. But the long-haired, mysterious Medusa trying to cajole the fateful secret from the cackling creature who crouches in the corner. That's a lot of alliteration there. We will not harm you, Maximus. You must tell us how to reverse the negative zone. So that, Black Bolt, I've been here for hours, but it seems hopeless. He either cannot or will not understand. I am glad you have come. Now I can show you what I have built. You will be able to see how clever Maximus is. He speaks with the tone of an incoherent child. He lives in a fantasy world of his own making. Show us, Maximus, what you have created. See, it is a metal kite, but it flies without wings, without a motor. I merely adapted it to polarized anti-gravity capsule. See how it flies. I forgive you, Black Bolt. I forgive you for taking my crown away from me. After all, are you not my own brother? If you like, I will make a metal kite for you, or I will make you some other clever plaything. Oh, I forgot. You cannot answer. You cannot speak. I shall speak for Black Bolt. I know what he would like best of all. Can you make something that can shatter any barrier? I don't think you are able to. Will Maximus do it? Will he try to prove he can make it? Or is he too mad? Is he impossible? Or is it impossible? Everything depends on what happens next. But unfortunately, we can tarry no longer with the fascinating Inhumans. For back in the eerie, extraordinary, electronic jungle of the wonderful Wakandas, the fabulous FF, together with their traveling companion, Johnny's classmate, Y Wingfoot, are preparing to take leave of their amazing host. Reed, darling, did you see the wonderful gifts which the Black Panther had prepared for us? Imagine the latest fashions from Paris and Rome, here in the heart of the jungle. The chieftain of the Wakandas is a wonderful man, Sue, darling. He is as generous as he is powerful, as warm-hearted as he is wealthy. If my paltry gifts find favor in your eyes, then my heart is happy. You have proven yourselves to be my friends, and the Black Panther does not use such a word lightly. A book of international athletic world records, including an entire section devoted to my father's career. How did he know? A sonic fishing pole, like something Tony Stark might have invented. Stretcho gets himself a whole new set of safari duds, but me, I get some nutty kind of toy or something. I bet Moneybags put me on. No, my grumbling, gregarious, gravel-voiced friend, I did not put you on. Exercise. That's the one thing a cracker like me don't need. But I ain't got the heart to tell him that. Yeah, it's the cat's pajamas. Keeps me off the streets anyhow. You hold in your hands the most powerful portable exerciser on Earth. It can generate a force equal to the press of 10 tons for you to test your strength against. I trust it will afford you many pleasant moments of relaxation. Come to think of it, this gizmo ain't bad, and it's cheaper than Vic Tanny's. I don't know what that is. But what of you, my young firebrand? There is a sorrow I see behind your eyes, a sorrow that you carry with you always. Know you that the resources and skills of the Black Panther are yours if they are needed. I appreciate that more than I can tell you, but there's nothing that anyone can do, anyone except me. I'm not going back with the FF. You're not? Reed, I've still got a few weeks of vacation time left. I want to return to the Great Barrier and use my flame against it again. The kids got it bad for that chick. I know it's hopeless. I know it's impervious to heat. But at least I'll feel like I'm doing something. And I'll feel I'm somehow nearer to Crystal. I join you, lad. Except I promised Sue that the next few weeks would make up for the honeymoon we haven't taken. I suspect that this is one thing that Johnny would rather do on his own, darling. Not completely alone, I hope. I still have a few weeks left. Also, Johnny, your brother-in-law and sister won't need me tagging along after them. And the Thing has told me how anxious he is to return to New York to see Alicia Masters once more. So, if the Flaming Ranger with like an oversized Tonto on his side, so I think he's talking about the Lone Ranger. So that was like a comic book character, the Lone Ranger. Or no, I don't. I'm not. No, I think he was in like a radio. He was in the radio. Lone Ranger was. I think he had like a TV series too or something. I'm not too familiar with him. I think there was a Disney film made of him in 2012 or 2013. There was like a Disney film or something made of Lone Ranger. But anyway, sure thing, Wyatt. And if anyone asks, Reed can say they went that away. Now I know the perfect going away gift for you. You shall need a vehicle, one which can transport you over in any terrain, with speed and safety. Black Panther section transport. Hear this. Gosh, that's right. Wyatt can't flame on and fly, as I can. But you've done so much for us already. The Black Panther shall be eternally in your debt, my friends. And gratitude is no stranger to the chieftain of the Wakandas. The vehicle I give you is but one of many at my disposal. You shall do me honor by your acceptance. Now come, I shall instruct you in its operation. I call it a gyro cruiser. No matter how the mobile outer bubble rolls along, the gyroscopically operated driving unit within remains constantly upright. It's brilliantly designed, but how is it powered? It contains a magnetic tension element energized by friction. It's the living end. I can't wait to get at all these controls. Apparently, the talent of inventive genius is not limited to any one place, culture, or clime. Gee, put 3 holes in it and y'all have the biggest blamed bowling ball on the block. A short time later, the dazzling gyro cruiser, with its 2 eager young passengers, rolls swiftly out of the Wakanda territory, heading for the open desert to the north. And within its vibrationless interior, so far so good. I'll climb above for a little shut-eye now, Wyatt. Sleep tight, Johnny. I'll spell you at the controls until you return. Then, at the moment's turned hours, it's so quiet here, so completely still. I find it hard to believe that we're riding through a roaring, deadly sandstorm, just inches away. All through the night, the blinding storm continues until we're safe enough within this incredible vehicle, but I haven't been able to see anything for hours. I better waken Johnny. I'll save you the trouble, big buddy. I never thought I could sleep through something like this, but the ship is so insulated, I didn't feel a thing. Wyatt, look at the altimeter. We're suddenly dropping. The sand must be giving way beneath us. Wait, did I skip a page? No. Okay. The sand must be giving way beneath us. We're plummeting into a crevice. But we've been falling straight down for minutes. It's no ordinary crevice. I don't understand. It's as though we've plunged into some sort of hidden shaft. But a shaft leading to what? So this is, I think, the Prester John story. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it is. Okay. So, but then finally, we've landed. But we've covered by tons of sand. I can't see a thing. Open the hatch. The Magnaforce will keep out sand while I burn my way through. And so, flame on. Wyatt was right. This is no ordinary crevice we've landed. Into some sort of deep underground crypt. That giant bas-relief, it seems to be guarding the doorway beneath it. The answer to all this must lie beyond those doors. I could never stand an unsolved mystery, especially when I've been tossed smack dab into the middle of it. So, here it goes. So yeah, there's Prester John. Employing his fabulous flame like a living acetylene torch, the blazing adventurer melts through the massive door, only to find a sight to stagger the imagination in the chamber beyond. A man, dressed in some sort of medieval garb. He looks as though he's been sitting there for centuries. And yet, I seem to instinctively know, without reason, without proof, that although he's motionless, he's undeniably alive. Johnny, the cruiser is free. Its magnetic friction force easily repelled all the sand. But what happened? What's going on in here? See for yourself, WW, and then you can tell me if you can. That man in the chair, he's starting to move, rising to his feet. But look how he's dressed. Who is he? I don't know, but I've seen friendlier expressions on the Hulk and Doc Doom. That thing he's holding, like some prehistoric flashlight, he's pointing it at us. It might be a weapon. Wyatt, look out. He's pressing a control stud. It's starting to glow, to vibrate. And then, before another word can be uttered, or another move can be made, too late. He's, Duck Johnny, Zzz. Seconds later, his consciousness returns to the two bewildered youths. Okay, I'm gonna do a voice for Prester John. I usually do a voice for the villains. You may now rise. Having seen my power, you will know better than to dare provoke me. What kind of gadget is that? It doesn't make sense that with the ancient getup you're wearing. Nothing makes sense here. Got to learn who he is. Oh wait, no, Prester John isn't a villain, I don't think. I don't think he's a villain, but I'll still do the voice for him. Because he's probably the closest thing to a villain, kind of. We gotta learn who he is and where we are. Since 'tis I who hold the supreme weapon, 'tis I who shall ask the questions. What manner of creatures be you? Who do possesses the power to turn your bodies into flame? We're not creatures, mister. We're humans. Just like we hope you are. And I'm the only one who can flame on and off. That's why I'm called the Human Torch. Truly astounding. Now be good enough to tell me what century this be. Why, it's the 20th century, of course. It's 1966. Then 700 years have passed since the men of Avalon placed me in the chair of survival. You mean you've been sleeping in that chair for 7 centuries? Avalon, the mythological land mentioned in the legends of King Richard. Mythical, you say? Not so. There was a land of Avalon, for my eyes have seen it. It was truly a land of wizards, of kindly and wondrous men who placed me in the chair of survival, so that I would live to tell of their glory after the final day of doom had slain them all. Then it must have been they who gave you that weapon you used against us. So it was. My name is Prester John, and long have I travelled the world, seeking to unravel the mysteries of mankind. That is why men have ever called me the Wanderer. My service with good King Richard has finally come to an end. Now I am free to probe the countless wonders of far-off lands. And the sights that I beheld, the secrets upon which I stumbled, were far beyond description, yea, almost beyond belief itself. Woven cloth filled with a strange gas called Helios, a glass which magically rises into the air. I kind of just did an Irish thing. Should I do like an Irish accent for him? I don't know. Anyway, the sky seems filled with fantastic flying carpets. Can I ever forget those lonely mountain peaks from which I barely escaped with my life, after finding a savage race which thrived only in the land of endless snow? Back, ye murderous brutes, the Wanderer shall not fall prey to a half-human band of abominable snowmen. And I wonder if time has erased the glory of Cathay, where I witnessed the flight of giant projectiles, like roaring comets soaring high in the heavens. Oof. See how they ride on the tails of dragonfire. Even madness did I encounter, such as the time I crossed the angry sea, only to find a tribe who studied the stars, and whose insanely proclaimed earth to be round, like some great spinning eggshell. Then why do men at the bottom not walk upside down? Begone, unbeliever. Time shall prove how right we be. But the greatest triumph of my life was finding the fabled Isle of Avalon. Avalon, hidden realm of miracles without end. Avalon, whose wizards created mighty machines which harnessed the mighty natural forces of the universe. Alas, that those same forces should have destroyed their own land, causing them to vanish forever from the sight of man. Now All that remains of the wondrous age of Avalon is this weapon, known by the enemies it has conquered as the Evil Eye. Johnny, I learned about Prester John in ancient history. He was supposed to have lived in about the 12th century. If his story is true, then there really was a land of Avalon. But what do we do about the Evil Eye? Look, Wanderer, maybe your story is true, but don't point that eye gizmo at us again. A bolt of flame at my feet. We're not exactly helpless ourselves. In all my travels, I have seen no power more awesome than yours, but still it pales into nothingness besides the mind-staggering impact of the Evil Eye. With just one swift blast, he created a bottomless cavern in the rocky floor beneath us. That is as not as to the further deeds I can perform. He's aiming it up towards the surface, smashing through every obstacle, like a cannonball piercing a paper bag. Boom, shaboom, or shabow. Did you see that? The Evil Eye is like a disintegrator, a laser beam, a battering ram, all rolled into one. It's too powerful, too dangerous. Nobody should have control of a weapon like that. Not even him. He's pointing it at us again. It's starting to glow. Got to stop him. You cannot stop me. I see you still do not trust me. Therefore, until you do, I must protect myself from you. You didn't realize that the Evil Eye possessed many powers, such as the power of forming an unbreakable shield, which grows stronger every second. Now there you shall remain until you realize that the Wanderer may never be challenged, may never be attacked. We're trapped. There's no way out. The dome is stronger than steel, with no opening anywhere. Wyatt, I just realized, is exactly like the terrible barrier behind which Crystal and the Inhumans are imprisoned. And even as Johnny speaks, many, many miles away, we find, There, Triton, you no longer have to live in your watery tank. The circulators I created will pump a life-giving saline chemical throughout your water-breathing body. This means I can live in the air like the others. Black Bolt, see what Maximus has done for me? I am free of my water tank at last. It was easy for me to do, dear brother. Now you can show your gratitude by restoring me to the throne again. Everyone knows that it is Maximus that should be king. Thoom. Maximus, you dare? It is the barrier you should be working on, and only the barrier. It's you who's trapped us here with your accursed negative zone, and if you don't find a way to set us free... No, don't hurt me, Gorgon. Black Bolt, save me. You must save your rightful king. Forgive me, Black Bolt. In my blind rage, I did forget that Maximus is truly mad. They all want to harm me, but you will protect me, my brother. You will protect Maximus. How much longer, Black Bolt? How much longer must we be prisoners of that accursed barrier? You are our rightful leader. You are the strongest among us, even though you cannot speak. Is there no way to save us? Black Bolt will protect me, for I am the king. And now brush away the cobwebs and try to remember where we left off as we rejoin the armor-clad Wanderer once again. I must be free of the flaming youth and his soft-spoken companion. as one who has sworn an oath of knightly chivalry. I cannot leave them to perish within the airless shield. What the evil eye has created, it can be destroyed. It can destroy. I have released you of my own free will. Know you then. I mean you no harm. Okay, Wanderer, we're sold. Speak then, Fiery One. I shall listen. But I've got to talk about that evil eye gizmo. There's someone in another land, a girl I love, who's trapped behind a barrier like the one your raid just shattered. If I could smash our barrier, it might also free hers. I gotta try it. You must lend me your weapon. No, it is impossible. Don't you see? It's the only thing that may save Crystal. Johnny, what's gotten into you? Johnny, look out. Butt out, Wyatt. Keep back. I know what I'm doing. That flame, the heat, I cannot hold onto the evil eye. But you must not have it. No, ugh. No one can. Stop me now. Or no one can stop me now. I've got to free Crystal. Sorry about that. Johnny, wait. I'm through waiting. I know what I have to do. Take the cruiser back to the Black Panther, Wyatt. Wait for me there. But what about you? I'll fly out through the opening the Wanderer made with the evil eye. Nothing can stop me now. I'll set Crystal free or die in the attempt. You mustn't blame him, Prester John. He couldn't help himself. The girl Crystal means everything to him. You'll not think I know the power of love, but he did not give me a chance to explain, to warn him. Warn him of what? He sees the evil eye before I could press the safety button. That means the power is still on. It will keep increasing and increasing until it reaches the point of complete destruction. If he isn't stopped, he'll blow himself up within minutes. And as the unsuspecting torch blazes on towards what seems to be a certain doom, we turn our attention once more to the strange activity occurring within the Great Barrier. Medusa, if you love Black Bolt, why do you let him do it? I cannot stop him, Crystal. He feels it is the only way to destroy the barrier. He is still king. His word must be law, or our law. Only his own life force has the power to activate the cycloelectronic chamber, enabling it to generate enough velocity to shatter the barrier. The terrible shock to him, the strain it will put upon his body, may kill him, but he is determined to try. And above all else, he is Black Bolt. He is ready to begin, but he doesn't not even look my way. He cannot, Medusa. His love for you may make him falter if he could see the anguish in your eyes. Now it begins. The fate of us all lies within the hands and the heart of Black Bolt. Those sparks, that sudden burst of indescribable energy, visible to our own naked eyes. He builds up the electrons, which give him power. Never before has one living being generated such energy. Even he cannot stand much more. Stand back, he's ready to act. Look, he's absorbing the great absorber bomb with the energy his own body has created. The longer he can maintain that power bolt, the more force the bomb will have. But how long before Black Bolt himself perishes in the attempt? We must not think of that. We must... Wait, what's happening? The built-up pressure is more than he can bear. Listen, For the first time since the catastrophe, he's making a sound. He's screaming. Personal note. We thought of titling this story Black Bolt Screams, but since we have to leave him again at this point, we decided against it. Anyway, at that split second, another life and death episode is taking place in another land, as we see. Johnny, stop. Wait, listen to me, Johnny. It's no use. He can't hear me. And he wouldn't stop if he did. Then, if you be truly his friend, it is up to you to stop him. You're right. I've set the cruiser on automatic. Not only this polarizer gun can fire a solidified ray of light right through the time plexiglass viewer. You'll be out of range. You must fire now. You dare not miss. His life depends on it. But Wyatt Wingfoot, with the blood of the Comanche warriors flowing through his veins, the eye of an eagle, spirit of a lion, Wyatt Wingfoot does not miss. Patoot. No! Shooting across the sky like a mechanical meteor, the uncanny evil eye finally begins to fall toward the desert sands below. But before it can reach the ground, another 2 seconds, it would have been too late. That explosion, that mushroom cloud, like an actual A-bomb. The impact was so tremendous that it put the lad's flame out, even though he was many miles away. He should be eternally grateful for what you have done. No, I suspect he feels only hatred for the one who shattered his hope of being reunited with the girl he loves. You did it. It was your fault. In his blind rage, he doesn't realize the fate he's been saved from. I thought you were my friend, but you sided with him? Easy, Johnny boy, you don't understand. Why did you do it? Why? I had to, Johnny. It was about to explode. It would have killed you. But it was my only chance. My only chance of finding Crystal again. Maybe it would have been better if you hadn't saved me. Next issue, the Thing battles Silver Surfer. So I'm going to take a break and then we'll read the letters column. Okay, sorry about that, guys. This is like a day later. I don't have really opportunities to record like I used to, so I'm sorry about that. But dear Stan and Jack, why don't you give the Fantastic Four a single person to fight and not a bunch of space bums running around, cluttering up the yarn and making the pages look utterly disgraceful? Tut, my good men, when will you learn? How about seeing some action? Snap to it, hurry up. Not that I'm fury puffing on a cigar or something, but let's get things rolling. Yeah, this guy's an idiot. The last few issues would be nothing but action, so I don't know what he's fucking talking about. David Carmichael, 1805 32nd Street, Vernon, British Columbia. Yeah, of course he's from Canada. Why can't we publish an issue just once, which everybody likes? Although we must admit that we've seen days when we had trouble coming up with a tale that anybody would dig. Anyway, thanks for your letter, Davey, we think. Dear Stan and Jack, I've got to congratulate you. The Galactus was the greatest. The Silver Surfer was a real swinger. Probably both of these supervillains are better than the Inhuman, so yeah, I agree. I really like the way you made Benji blame himself for being the Thing. Yes, that's good too, yeah. Please don't let him change back to Ben Grimm again. It's not that I hate him or want him to suffer, but it's because it gives life to your magazine. Let Alicia regain her sight. This will create a very interesting situation. I just read FF number 51, This Man, This Monster. The picture of Ben standing in the rain on the page 1 was truly a masterpiece. Say, you guys can really create neat villains. You actually were giving away all the thoughts that the bad guy in issue number 51 was having. Like how he realized that Reed Richards was when it was in reality something far different from a hot shot. How he suddenly decided to save the same man he hated all his life. And especially his last thought of, maybe we don't have to both die, mister. He gave his life to save Reed Richards, and without a single regret, this story has one of the best plots ever. The guy who thought it deserves to be called Jules Verne. Jack Boyven, 223 Knox Crescent, Ottawa 8, Ontario, Canada. Oh yeah, what comics did he ever write? Only kidding, Jack. We appreciate the compliment. Except on account of you, Smiley and the Jolly One will probably call their next dozen villains Captain Nemo. Dear Stan and Jack, after having the FF fight a villain, Doctor Doom, then a group, the Frightful Four. Yeah, we haven't seen the Frightful Four yet. Well, they did in the comics. I haven't read it yet, but then a colony, the Inhumans, then a galactic-wide threat, Galactus. I wondered what would come next. Then came FF number 51. One look at it and I thought it would be a letdown after the Galactus adventure, but I was sadly mistaken. This monster was a literary masterpiece, and that comes nowhere near adequately describing it. He was not only equal to number 50, but surpassed it, when the villain gave up his life to save the very man whom we started out to destroy. I felt a lump forming in my throat. Now that you have featured some of the most colorful array of villains, how about some simple down-to-earth type baddies, like Doctor Doom, Diablo, or the Puppet Master? I'd like to see them once in a while. Another point I must bring out is competition. Recently, comics went into a full-scale war. Yeah, it was between DC and Marvel. It was starting at that time. Because Marvel was really picking up. Marvel hadn't been relevant since the 40s. But, and just when I had about to explode at you guys for popping out about Brand A, you came up with a wonderful write-up in your Marvel bullpen bulletins. Good for you. Jerry Mills, 1522 W 261st Street, Harbor City, California. Well, you know us, Jer. We always come through under the wire at the last minute. It was our comic mag training. But what do you mean by calling Doc Doom, Diablo, and the pusillanimous Puppet Master simple, down-to-earth baddies? They're not exactly the type you see being hauled into your local precinct. Are they? If they are, tell us about it. We're moving in. Yeah, okay. Dear Stan and Jack, after reading the startling saga of the Silver Surfer, number 50, I simply had to pen these few comments. This is the finest issue ever to come from Marvel, without a doubt. The Homeric scope of the plot, the pure poetry of the dialogue, and the masterful artwork of Jack Kirby all left me amazed when I had finished this one. If you had come up with the story of this stature once a year, it's worth the effort. I trust that before you go signing any movie contracts for your mighty Marvel characters, you will have the wisdom to ensure that they are done by someone with sufficient cinematic competence. Yeah, that wouldn't happen until the 2000s, unfortunately. But yeah, the superhero movies didn't really even start till until Superman, the first Superman came. But please avoid the kind of insults to comicdom when we have seen on television and elsewhere lately. May I suggest Akira Kurosawa as a suitable director? I've heard of him. He's very famous. I've heard he was one of the most famous. Yeah, I've heard of him. Of course, only your venerable itself is worthy of writing the script if such a film is to have any artistic significance. Russell Ham, 711 Norton Hall, University of California, 240 Durant Avenue, Berkeley, California. You'll get your part of your wish anyway, Russ. The scripts are going to be the actual stories you've seen in past issues of our Marvel mags. And actual story. Well, sort of, yeah, they adapted them, I guess. With the Fantastic Four, they adapted this Galactus, but it was done kind of bad. They merged in the Fantastic Four Rise of Silver Surfer. They merged Galactus and the one where Doctor Doom steals Silver Surfer's powers. They combined the two stories. And Galactus wasn't even really in it. He was a big cloud. And it was really stupid, but anyway. And the artwork of our new modern style TV cartoon features. So talking about the Marvel superhero show at that time, they were a really low budget cartoon. Will be photographed directly from the mags themselves. Another mighty bullpen first. So what you and a zillion other frantic ones everywhere will be seeing are actual Marvel stories and art. Yeah, that's what they did. They and for that show, the Marvel superheroes, they recorded right off the comics. Literally, they cut out the comics and then put it, physically cut out with scissors and animated it. That's what they did. The Fantastic Four and Spider-Man show didn't do that, but they adapted certain stories. Especially the Fantastic Four cartoon. But we'll be seeing our actual Marvel story, or through the Marvel stories and art brought to life on your home screen. In glowing color through the magic of the most dazzling offbeat Hollywood trick photography we've seen in years. So what else is new? Dear Stan and Jack, needless to say, FF number 51 was great. I think it was one of the greatest issues you ever put out. I say this because with FF number 51, you have reached a new plateau of greatness in the comics field. You produce an excellent mag without having a single action scene. This shows that a comic doesn't have to be plastered with action to be great. Let me expand on this point. Mr. Fantastic made no attempt to stretch. Sue didn't have any need to turn invisible. Ben was not the thing for most of the tale, and the only items that Johnny allowed to flare up were his thumb and his temper. But with all this greatness, one thing doesn't register. On page 6, when an enraged Benjamin Grimm comes storming into the room, there is a quick, heated discussion. Then a disorganized and thoroughly distraught Ben storms out after having made a vain attempt to warn Reed and Sue of the impending disaster, and merely being dismissed as a crackpot who bears a striking resemblance to the real Ben Grimm, who is, at this time, in the form of the Thing. After the embarrassment of the scene has worn off, Reed, Sue, and the Changeling, in Thing's clothing, settle down to the business at hand. Everything is in a state of euphoria, and all is well with the world. I hate to terminate this tenuous feeling of utopia, but don't you think that readers and Sue should be a little bit concerned about how, in the name of Irving Forbush, their splendid visitor managed to breach the transcendent defenses of the FF headquarters with such seeming ease? Yeah, I agree with this. Yeah, it is. I think it's a big plot hole. I do agree. Yeah, that is a big plot hole. But anyway, but indeed, more unutterable words were never uttered when I say enough said. Russell Bullock Jr., Pleasant Street, Pembroke, Massachusetts, 12359. Face it, RB, if you were about to risk your neck by traveling into some nutty kind of negative zone beyond your own time-space time and space continuum where man hath never trod. Isn't it just barely possible that you might overlook something like a burglar alarm that hasn't been tripped? I don't know. I think like having if you one of your best, so Mr. Fantastic's best friend, the Thing. There were two of them. Like that would like Reed Richards is the smartest man alive, or at least the second. It's debatable whether it's between him and Doctor Doom, but I mean he would have easily he could have. It is a plot hole. I don't know. I will say though it's very hard for them to write it out though. I will say it was very hard for them to write like a solution to it. But like if your best friend is like this random guy comes in who looks exactly like your best friend and sounds exactly like your best friend, comes in saying that this guy's an imposter, then yeah, I think like any person in the world will be suspicious, especially Reed Richards, knowing how intelligent he is. It doesn't really matter whether it's a negative zone or not. Now, I'm not saying the story that story is a very amazing story, and it pioneered a lot of things because it made the villain very sympathetic in that story. But I will say that is kind of a plot hole, though. I will say that. So, yeah. I agree with this guy. Although we must admit, any Joker who can toss off a word like splendid in a casual letter is probably right about his criticism also. Yeah, I agree with this, with Russell Bullock Jr. I agree with him. But, dear Stan and Jack, congratulations on FF number 50. May your next 50 be just as successful. FF number 50 was symbolic. Galactus represented the Viet Cong. Yeah, so all these stories, like these Fantastic Four stories, were written during the Vietnam War in the late 1960s, so there wasn't as many references, I think, when the war was actually happening. It was kind of later when the references started happening, but from what I understand anyway. But the powerful aggressor, but not realizing fully his error, the noble FF assumed the role of South Vietnam. So they needed help from a more powerful source. The Silver Surfer, as America, helped a lesser people in their time of need, even though he himself was not involved. And Alicia characterized Stan Marvel, the president, and all other loyal, patriotic, freedom-loving Americans. Okay, very appropriate indeed. This is very interesting. This one, very interesting. So very appropriate indeed. The moral: a freedom-loving people, no matter where in the galaxy they exist, not hesitate to help their fellows. We Americans, as a Silver Surfer, should be glad to help our neighbors in Vietnam. Yeah, I don't think the war fully escalated at this. This was in 1966, so I don't know. I think like in 67 and 68 was when it really escalated. Also, it is interesting to note that in the end, the FF were allowed to deal the final crushing blow, Stan. I couldn't agree more. In parting, I would like to say that, in my humble opinion, Captain America should be sent to Vietnam. They would kind of do that. There was a comic called Spider-Man Life Story where the heroes aged in real time. That was a much newer story. Like I think that might have came out like 2020 or something or 2019 or something like that. But in that, Captain America did go to Vietnam and he ended up defecting. So I think the actual Captain America would have had maybe some issue. Well, he wouldn't have liked the Viet Cong. I don't know. I don't want to really get into this. Isn't political, so I don't want to talk about it. What he would have thought of. Um, I know he definitely would not like any sort of communism. He would have hated communists, Captain America, because he would have remembered that the Soviets were the Allies, but he would have also known communists were like the fascists, sort of. So that's what he would have thought about communism, but he would have not liked how America handled things. Like some of the, well, that he would have just saw it as like a really messy war, and didn't want to get involved with it. And would help just help civilians. That's what Captain America probably would have thought. Um, it isn't as like a good versus bad thing. Like I don't know, in America versus Germany or something like that, right? So that's how I think he would have thought about it. I don't know if he would have outright defected like he did, but I know he wouldn't have liked to get involved too heavily in it. Um, at least on either side. But I think he would have got involved in the Korean War. If Captain America was around then, I think he would have been on the Allied side, or the UN side in the Korean War. But Vietnam would have been much more muddled. So I don't know. I don't like to talk about political stuff anymore. But this would be a large part of your freedom effort. Greg Jones, 4106 Donna Lynn Drive, Houston, Texas. So, Texas. Lyndon Johnson was from Texas. He was the president at that time. So, yeah, 77018. Who boy, we never know what kind of message Marvelites are going to read into our swinging little sagas. I will say. Oh yeah, another thing I should say. Stan Lee, I think, was like a. I don't know if Stan Lee actually supported Vietnam. I'm not sure. I think he might have been against Vietnam. Yeah, I think he was against Vietnam, the Vietnam War. But he was subtle about it though. He wasn't, from what I understand. He was like a New Deal kind of Democrat. That was Stan Lee's political, because he's from New York, right? Him and Jack Kirby were all like Democrats. But I don't want to talk about political stuff. Um, we think your allegorical references are clever as all get out, Greg, and we're glad you enjoy the apparent symbolism. But 2 will get 10 that our next mail contains a whole caboodle of letters from equally imaginative fans who are utterly convinced that Galactus represented Robert McNamara. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. Silver Surfer would kind of be. Lyndon Johnson would be if this was like anti-Vietnam. Galactus would be Johnson, and Silver Surfer would be McNamara. Silver Surfer was Wayne Morse. I know who Wayne Morse. Wayne Morse was a senator from Oregon. Well, Alicia is symbolizing Lady Bird. I don't know. I don't know if Wayne Morse. He probably did support. I don't know if he supported Vietnam. I know he was a Democrat, and he was a former Republican turned Democrat. I know Wayne Morse was. He was a liberal. He was an extremely liberal Republican who switched to Democrats in the 50s. That's who Wayne Morse is. But, so I don't know if he actually. I'll look up if he did or not. But that's one of the most interesting things about creating those little imaginaries for such aware fans. You can't dot an I without someone reading some deep subliminal message into it. Yeah, Stan Lee would never really talk about. It's a good thing too. Stan Lee would never talk about politics. Well, not overtly talk about it. He would poke fun like later on at like Richard Nixon and that, from what I've seen. He did not like Richard Nixon, because I seen like panels where he's making fun of him, but And there's a comic he did um, that was on. I saw scans of it on Read Comic Online. It was like a parody of current events. I think it was written before John F. Kennedy got assassinated. I can't remember what it's called, but there was like black and white images, and they'd put text bubbles over, and he was making fun of Barry Goldwater and that. Stanley was, so yeah, but that's like the only political thing he never did any. He never did like any overt political stuff in his comics. From what I've seen anyway. I don't know. I don't know. They're just kind of story. He just likes writing good stories. That's all. I like. That's why I don't like. I don't like talking about politics. I hate it. Actually, I hate politics. But that's my opinion. But dear Stan and Jack, I can hold back no longer. I just had to express my feelings at reading FF number 50. With this issue, the FF reached a new pinnacle of greatness. Even before this ish, FF was far and away your best mag, but the Bullpen gang really outdid themselves in giving us the saga of the Silver Surfer. The Surfer's gallant gesture in attempting to save Earth in the face of doom was unparalleled in the annals of the Marvel Age. Johnny Storm's shock of having seen cosmic wonders beyond the scope of human imagination was a touch of realism seldom seen anywhere but in Marvel. Many have complained to you about the various subplots which wander from the storyline. Well, that's absurd. Little scenes like the episode of Whitey Mullins and Johnny's first day of college helped to relieve monotony and build a basis for future storylines. Keep it up, Stan. Art-wise, Kirby and Sinnott are a must for each other. Their enhancing drawings of the Surfer sure didn't hurt the story any. Also, the presence on Earth of the Silver Surfer presents some mighty interesting possibilities. Old Surf could sure make it uncomfortable for some villains if he traveled disguised as a hero. So keep up the majestic Marvel masterpieces. You know what Irving does to slackers. Ted Rypill, 3334 W 52nd, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102. Irving, Ted. Whoever on earth is he? So again, that's like an inside joke. This Irving Forbush guy. That's like an inside joke, but from what I understand. Dear Stan and Jack, stupendous, terrific, magnificent are only a few words which I can describe. FF number 51. This is the first time I have written, as I felt it was my duty. Stan, Jack, Joe, even Artie outdid themselves. The cover and full-length picture on page 14 was great. Bald Deluxe is one of your best characters. I really don't know his name. The guy who was copying the thing. I'm tongue twisted today. I'm sorry. He was replacing the thing. The guy who was like an imposter. That's what I was looking for. I'm a dumbass. Never mind. But I'd see more of him. But he's probably dead now. Well, that's the way the characters crumble. FF is the greatest, but I also like the Avengers, Daredevil, Doctor Strange, and oh yeah, the new Teenage Hulk, which is what he looks like now. Yeah, I guess, yeah, they redesigned Hulk, I'm pretty sure, under another artist. He was in like side stories from like Tales to Astonish. They were like serialized stories. I can't remember. I know Steve Ditko drew a few of the issues of Hulk, or a few of the stories of Hulk, not the issues, because the title got discontinued. But for proof, look at Ish number 77, page 13, and page 8 of the Hulk story. Giant Man's new getup is also great. Yeah, Giant Man was Goliath. He's using the name of Goliath. And Giant Man's Ant-Man. So, until Thor gets his hair cut off and Odin gets dandruff, so long, Joe Cuspel, 5635 Weg Avenue, East Chicago, Indiana. So long, Joey. Glad you like the things you do like, and sorry you don't like whatever it may be you don't like. You sure caught us in an agreeable mood. And Odin wants to know if you can recommend a good dandruff remover. While Baldylocks, whose name we've forgotten, also says it's too late for him. Dear Stan and Jack, as a contented high school dropout, I must strongly object to you sending Johnny Storm to college. When Johnny first appeared in FF, he was a cool, hot rod loving, rebellious teenager. Now you've made him into a first-class square. I thought by this time you'd be dropping out of high school rather than entering college. What a disappointment. Also, what about the high school stay-ins? There are probably 10 times as many of them as there are collegians, to whom you always seem to be catering. Yeah, I think Stanley used to talk at colleges and that all the time. I've seen there's little videos on YouTube of him doing that. Yeah, but yeah, Stanley was very intelligent. He's a very intelligent man. But to whom you were catering. Formerly, they could identify themselves as either Peter Parker, Spider-Man, or the Human Torch. Now that they've become squares, the high school students are left out. I know it's too late to correct this, but I'll still be a fan. Pete Maranzo, or Maranzo, yeah, I think I pronounced it right the first time. 3619 Street, 61 Court, Cicero, Illinois. Ooh, that's a relief, but we're gonna let you in on a secret, Petey. The Torch and Spidey are just as rebellious as ever, as most young people are. Because that's a part of growing up, part of gaining a social consciousness. But as with most of the hip, aware, highly articulate high school and college students of today, they're rebellious against the things that count, such as intolerance, injustice, and hypocrisy. But to be rebellious against education, man, you gotta be kidding. Knowledge is the only weapon we've got, the only weapon that counts, the only weapon that one day may gain a victory of lasting significance to all of us good guys over the bad guys. Don't ever knock it, Pete. Forgive us for getting on a soapbox without warning, but we kind of think we just echoed the no-kidding convictions of Marvelites everywhere. At least we hope so. Next dish. We don't want to give you the hard sell this time because we don't have to. This one is practically guaranteed to be a sellout as soon as it hits the stands, besides bringing you up to date about the inconceivable Inhumans, besides filling you in on the domestic life of Reed and Sue, besides giving a startling hint of the wonders yet to come. It features an epic battle between the bashful Ben and the Silver Surfer as they go at it hammer and tongs for the love of Alicia Masters. It's the kind of action sensation that only King Kirby could draw. The kind of dramatic bombshell that only Stan the Man could write. The kind of magnificent masterwork that only a true Marvelite could fully comprehend. Imagine what we might say if we hadn't decided to avoid the hard sell. So to FF number 55, face front, we want to remember you just as you are. So yeah, that's the end of that comic. Yeah, sorry this took so long to make. Again, I had really bad trouble with my recording setup. I had a very bad time recording. It took me multiple days to record this one comic. I don't know how long this video in total. It's definitely over an hour. But next video I might not do a comic. I want to show you guys my DC Cinematic Universe thing I made. Well, if I do read a comic, I'm gonna read the next issue of Action Comics. But hope you guys or actually no, I'm not gonna do that. The next comic. what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read Marvel Comics #1 from 1939. I'm gonna read the Human Torch story, and then I'm going to read the Action Comics again. So like, I'm gonna do 2 Marvel comics and 2 DC comics. So it'd be 50-50, it'd be fair. So I will say that when I was a kid, now I like DC more than Marvel. I prefer DC over Marvel. Um, Not DC now, because DC's a horribly run company. But, um, yeah, when I was a kid, I liked Marvel more. I liked the Marvel in the 2000s. That was my favorite. I loved that. But I still love both. I still love Marvel. And I love DC. I love Batman and Superman and The Flash and Wonder Woman. And, well, I've never been really into Wonder. I like The Flash and Green Lantern and Hawkman and Captain Marvel and all them. But and then Marvel, I love Spider-Man, Wolverine, and the Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. I love all of them. But yeah. Anyway, if you guys would like to like, comment, or subscribe, just let me know if you want me to read a specific comic. Yeah, just let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.